Hi everyone, this is Hayadina Abubakar. So in this video, we are going to discuss about doing local and oral history. So sa video na to is malalaman natin kung ano ang local at ang oral history. So by the way, this topic is from chapter 5. So without further ado, let's start. So before tayo mag-proceed is we have two objectives, which is to know local history and to know oral history. And content review muna before tayo mag-proceed sa ating main topic. So alam naman natin kung ano ang history, but the real definition of history is history is an umbrella term comprising past events as well as the memory, discovery, collections, organization, presentation, and interpretation of these events. So we all knew naman that history is as the study of past events, particularly in human affairs. And ang history, the history subject and courses is usually taught to student is yung mga Philippine history, world history, and history of Asia. So, ang coverage is always expensive and taught in a broad stroke of a historical period of large spaces and of prominent personalities. So, little is known about the subdiscipline of local history. So, let's first define kung ano ang local history. So, what is local history? So, ang local history is the study of the history of a particular community or a smaller unit of geography. Dito sa local history is study siya ng everyday struggle and triumphs of ordinary people. Kasi from the word local is nakapokus lang siya sa particular community, particular places, and particular country. Like for instance, dito sa Pilipinas is dito lang sa Pilipinas umiikot yung pinag-aaralan ng mga local historians. So, local history rin is reflects the reality that our lives are shaped by particular places and that our physical place in this world is a major determinant kung paano tayo nabubuhay or kung paano tayo namumuhay. Debates, however, continuously persist on the definition of this subdiscipline. So, particular in the subject of its study. So, kung ang local history daw ba is pinag-aaralan ang local communities, ang local institution, ang local groups, at ang local heroes. So, ang local historian is pinag-aaralan nila ang local institution, like churches. They also study the local economists, local heroes, at ang mga local events. Local history thus is also a broad and dynamic field of inquiry that aims to have an in-depth understanding of a certain locale. So guys, take note that hindi ang local history ang nag-aaral sa local communities, local institutions, local groups, at ang local heroes. Dahil ang nag-aaral dito is ang mga writer or the historians, the local historians. Okay? I know you guys are wondering kung ano ba ang local historians. So, ang local historians they are the writer of a local histories, an expert or a student of a local history. So, like what I have said kanina, they are the one who studying the local economies, institution, groups, and heroes. And ang trabaho rin nila they look for understanding of our past, kung ang past natin is relevant sa understanding ng future or present condition natin. But take note na doing local history is a process of learning. But know that doing history in local, there is a person behind to those informations, which is the historians. Okay? So the most compiling question, however, is why do and study local history? So in the first chapter, we discusses how history could serve as a respiratory of collective memory. So SAS memories is important in foreign of national unity through identification with a common collective past. So nevertheless, nationalism, like the other ideologies, when taken into extreme, can produce the most horrendous of human tragedy. The atrocities of the Second World War that killed 6 million Jewish people in Europe were perpetrated by an extreme nationalist theory propagated by Nazi Germany. So totalitarian state at present, like the North Korea, also use nationalism in justifying the dictatorial and anti-democratic character of the country. So in these cases of extreme nationalism, history is being used by state in forms of official national history to rally the people behind them. Also, local history can serve as a balancer of those tendencies na nabanggit ko a while ago by showing kung ano yung pagkaiba-iba or iba't ibang katangian ng certain locale in a particular nation, region, or continent. By studying local history, it can provide new alternative interpretation on the different aspect of nations' history. So local history also facilitates a historical narrative emanating from the people. So historians call this the history from below. So ultimately, studying local history should provide new provision and perspectives on the already established national history. So thus, local history is not just aimed at opposing the discourse in the national history, but it also a tool of enriching this national narrative. So doing local history, however, is not an easy task. We all know that. And despite the seemingly smaller scope of study, history are often faced with challenges in locating sources for local and a specific object of the study. So one more important methodology to local history is the oral history. So let's first define kung ano ang oral history. Oral history is important in the means of scarcity in written sources, historical documents, and other material evidences. This method uses oral accounts of historical subject, witness, member of a community, and the like. Ang oral history enables people to share their stories in their own words, with their own voice, through their own understanding of what happened and why. Oral history also is the spoken history. It is the record of people's unique memories and life stories. It is used as personal reminiscence and an alternative and complementary source to the document on which historians normally rely. Oral history is not only a way in which historians can discover more about the past, but it also historical discipline in its own right. It can be used to research family history, the history of a particular community such as village or street, or can contribute detailed knowledge to widen them. Ang oral history is primarily relies on memory. So, nakarelay siya sa memory. And the subject of the informant will recruit his experiences to the researchers as he remembers it. So, man natin kung sino ang researchers, which is the historians. In other instance, the informant will relay what he learns from his ancestor or older members of the community to the historians. Para mas maintindihan nyo ang oral history is ito yung collection and study of historical information about individuals, family, important events, or everyday using audio tapes, video tapes, or transcription tapes, or planned interviews. This nature and definition of oral history cause positivist historians or those who subscribe to the beliefs that history should be primary based on written document to criticize the method of oral history. So memory is seen something that is faulty and inaccurate. At best, positivist historians see oral account as mere supplement to the history written from the written documents. So, however, one cannot discount the importance of oral history in writing history of unprivileged sectors and communities like the urban poor or the indigenous people. These groups are usually left out of record. They were undocumented because of their status. So, in this instance, it is the task of historians to search for alternative methods that will capture the experience and collective past of these communities. Oral history play this role. So before I will end this discussion, please take note that local and oral history are important endeavors in the development and enrichment in the discipline of history. So this effort will fill the gaps in the discipline by highlighting alternative areas of studies and methodology towards a more holistic, inclusive, and progressive study of our past. That will be all. Again, this is Abubakar Hayadina. And feel free to ask me kung may mga bagay or details kayo na hindi naintindihan. So, yeah, thank you.